Alright guys, welcome back to another Barbecue Bros video. Today's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. I am treating myself and my family with a bunch of ribs today, and I'm going to be smoking them on my mini Weber Smokey Mountain, or the mini WSM. And I've actually only cooked on that guy one time since I built it a few weeks ago. So this is a perfect opportunity to cook on it, so I'm going to walk you through the whole process. What I've got today is I've got some baby back ribs. So these were actually already cut in half at my local grocery store, which is perfect because I was probably going to have to cut them in half anyways for the mini. So we've got 2 half racks of babies, and these are some huge beef ribs here, beef back ribs, and these things are just going to be amazing. You can see just you know how much meat there is. It's just, you know, these things are going to be awesome. So you can see that right there. What I'm going to do is I've got let me go ahead and do this first, and then we'll move over to the rubs. So both of these have the membrane right here that we need to take off. I've actually got a video on my channel where I kind of go more in depth on getting this membrane off, but I always just take paper towels, and see that right there? It's already just peeling right off. So it just takes some practice, but once you get used to it, see that? The whole thing's just peeling right off. You always want to remove that because it's super tough and chewy and hard to break through, so always remove that. So we'll just throw that nastiness away. And then we'll move over here and do it to this guy. And I just start on the end and and then get a good grip if I can. Sometimes you gotta work at it a little bit. Sometimes it starts tearing in various pieces. But there we go. The whole thing's off. Alright, so we'll just throw that stuff away. So we'll flip these guys over. Let me take these gloves off real quick. Wash my hands. Okay, so if you watch my videos, you know I'm a huge fan of Simply Marvelous rubs. I make a bunch of my own, but it's just, it's really hard for me not to want to use their rubs. They're just, I think they're the best out there. And what we're going to do today, this is the pecan rub, or pecan, however you want to say it. And this has quickly become my favorite rub. It is just phenomenal on anything you put it on, but it's especially good on pork. So we're going to be putting that on the baby backs. This right here is the Simply Marvelous Cherry Rub. This goes really well on everything, but you typically are going to see people talking about how they use it on beef, and I do think it goes best with beef, just the way the cherry just kind of blends with the beef. So that's what we're going to put on those guys. So we'll start with the baby backs. Just give them a nice good coat. And you want to be careful, obviously, not to touch the meat and then go back into your rub. I have made that mistake before, not paying attention, and you basically got to chunk all the rest of your rub. This pecan rub just smells unbelievable. It's got a real sweet, nutty flavor to it. Alright, so now we'll switch over to the cherry. You can see it's a little bit darker. Get these beef back ribs coated nice and good. These guys are going to be amazing when they're done. And I just go ahead and just get all the rub down like this. And then I'll blend it in. So that is looking pretty dang good right there. So just kind of pat all these down. Alright. You can also, let me do this one in the middle. You can kind of go on each side and just try to get the sides a little bit. It's not a big deal, but I do try to kind of dab the sides. See that right there? And all you do is just once you flip it over, any of the extra that falls off, then just take it and go like this and go like that. So now all three sides have it. Move through these quickly. This is looking really good. Last one down here on the end. Alright, so the beef ones are done. And then I'll just kind of rub this in a little bit, just pat these down. Wash my hands. Alright, so grab the camera. Let you get a little close up there so you see that nice color on those baby backs with the pecan rub. And then take a look at the beef ones there. A little bit more kind of a dark burgundy type hue to them. So I'm going to just set these aside, and this was kind of a last minute thing I decided to do today on the way home from church. So typically what I do is I would have prepped these last night and had them sitting in the fridge. So obviously that's not going to happen today. So I'm going to go out there and get the mini set up and get some charcoal going in the chimney, and then I'm going to be throwing these on in just about 30-45 minutes. So I'll pick back up and show you how I've got the mini set up. Alright, it's time to go ahead and get the ribs thrown on. So I just wanted to show you my setup. So this is the base of the mini, and I've got some unlit charcoal briquettes in here with some cherry wood chunks and some apple wood chunks. And I'm just going to, I've got some coals right there that are white hot. Those are ready to go. So what I'm going to do, there's the base, so my Florida Gator, little mini Weber Smokey Mountain, and then there's the lid over there. And so I'm going to sit the camera down here and go ahead and grab these lit coals over here, and I'm just going to dump them in. There's not too many of them. You really just need a few to get these going. Then I just kind of take it, and you see this ridge right here that I'm pointing to? That's the ridge that on original Smokey Joe, that's the ridge that the grate sits on. And so when you convert these to a mini, the base sits on that ridge just like that. Alright, so it just sits in there just nice and perfectly. let me pick up the camera again. There's the inside. So I've got that bottom rack down there is the original rack that came with my Smokey Joe. It's sitting on a 12-inch terracotta heat diffuser. So I just went to my local Home Depot and bought a little 12-inch terracotta plate. It's wrapped in foil just to try to catch some of the fat juices that are going to fall off. And so what we're going to do is here's our ribs over here. So these are good to go. I'm going to put the baby backs on the bottom. And so we'll go ahead and do that. And just sit those guys down in there. Alright, so just like that. Let me set the camera down. Alright. So that is the top rack I just put back in there. You see, you've got tons of room in this thing. I mean, you can cook butts, briskets, spare ribs, whole chickens, whatever you want. So we're going to go ahead and start grabbing these guys. See, I got plenty of room for all this stuff. And this is a ton of ribs. Wife is going to be happy. We'll have some leftovers during the week. And so then all I'm going to do is, let me take off these gloves real quick. Alright, put this back on. Alright, so we're just going to put the lid on and go ahead and damper that down. And let me go ahead and show you the trick with these little minis. So if you've seen my other video where I showed you kind of how I put this guy together, the Smokey Joe Golds come with 2 dampers up on the side. What I have found to be the sweet spot is you want one of them completely closed like that. And then the other one, it's open about halfway, so about right there. And all we're gonna do is as this thing gets up to temp, we're just gonna keep an eye on try to get it right around 200, 225. Again, I'm running behind today. You know, just decided to do these kind of last minute, so that's why I'm just getting them thrown on and you know, I'll probably go about 5 hours on them. We'll foil them and they should be good to go. So I'll check back in just a little bit once it gets good and up to temp and show you how they're doing. Alright, it's been just about an hour. This thing is right around 200. It's kind of been going back and forth a little bit. Again, like I was telling you, this is only my second time cooking on it, and it's gotten up to 200. I've really been having to tweak the vents out to try to figure this guy out, but I've got both of them now open almost all the way, have the top damper open all the way, and it's you know, sticking right around 200. I'm going to keep a good eye on it and just kind of figure out where that sweet spot really needs to be. But other than that, I mean, it's been close to 200 the whole time, doing really well. Let's take a quick peek at it. There we go. Wish you guys could smell that. It smells super good. Combination of the pecan and the cherry rub, and then that cherry and applewood smoke just ripping out of there. So it looks really good. So those are the beefs on top, and the porks are down there on the bottom rack, if you can see down there. So that's it. So we'll pick up again soon. I'll foil these in another couple hours and we'll pick up then. Alright, here we go. It has been 3 hours. I just pulled all of these off the mini. And you see they have already just an amazing texture to them. A couple of them are already starting to pull off the bone a little bit, but these still have 2-3 hours longer to go. So what I'm going to do with the beef ribs, I've got 2 layers of aluminum here, aluminum foil. Actually, let me put this bigger one on top. Alright, so I've got all the beef ribs. Oop, there's one more. All I'm going to do is I take this and pull up the edges. Just like this. This is one of my favorite marinades for beef. So for brisket and for beef ribs, it's called Pirate's Gold. You can just get it from most supermarkets. And it just has an amazing flavor that's great for some beef back ribs like this. So all I'm going to do is just pour some into this foil. Don't have to go too crazy with it, so that's good about just like that. What this is going to do is, as all this cooks for another 1.5 to 2 hours, the marinade and the fat from the ribs is all just going to sit there and steam and just circulate within the foil, and it breaks the muscle fibers down more and just gets them more and more tender. So I just pull this over. Just like this. So those are ready to go. Now for the baby backs. Then one of these, actually we'll go ahead and just do both of them. And then put this on the bottom. So again, I like to always do 2 layers of tinfoil. This is heavy duty tinfoil I got from a commercial distributor, but don't ever buy the cheap stuff because any bone that's exposed will just break right through it. But I like to do 2 just so it's got a little bit extra strength to it. With baby backs, loin backs, spare ribs, all I use is just apple juice. Just like that. Some people use water, but more often than not, you're going to see where guys use apple juice. It gives them an amazing flavor. And again, just going to pull all this up. And then this in here and this in here. And we'll walk out to the mini real quick. And take the lid off. These are the beefs that are going to go back down on that bottom rack. So if you want to take a look in there. And then we'll get this top grate back on. And the babies will go right there. Put the top on. And I'm going to let that go for another 1.5 hours or so. And then we'll take them out and sauce them. Alright, it has been just about 5 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just take this lid off. And we'll go ahead and... What I'm going to do with both the baby backs and the beef backs is I'm going to do half of them with sauce and the other half without. Because I like to... So look at that right there. Look at how just tender those look with that apple juice that's been soaking in there. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and take these guys out. Those are looking amazing. Pretty hot, so be careful. Set that aside. This is Blues Hog Original. It's my go-to sauce for ribs, so I'll sauce this bigger one over here. Alright, now I'm going to grab the, I'm going to take this rack out. Let's set it over here. I'm going to take the beef ribs. A little hot, a little hot. And look at these guys. Woo! Look at that. They're just falling right off of the bone. The smell is amazing. I'm just going to sauce about half of them. Hit that one down there too. Get a little bit more of these babies over here. Alright, now I'm just going to put these those are just looking amazing. There's the last 3 of those. We're only going to let these go for about 20-30 more minutes. And let me put the top rack back on. Perfect. And that half rack is going to go right there with the sauce. And that other one right there. And we're going to throw the lid back on. And let those, like I said, go for 20-30 minutes, and I'll pull them off and they're going to be done. So I'll pick up right after we pull them off and we're cutting them. Alright, here we go. So these guys are ready to take off. There's that first half rack right there. Great color. Alright, so there's the one with the sauce. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's going to be amazing. Go ahead and get this rack off. And then we've got the beefs down here on the bottom. Look at that. The meat's just pulling right off the bone on that. These came out amazing. See that? Same thing. This meat is so tender, that's just going to fall right off that bone. Here's a couple with the sauce. Sauce is caramelized just a little bit on some of those. I know I say this all the time, but I wish you guys could smell what's coming out of this smoker right now. It's unreal. Look at the sauce on that beef rib. And lastly, one more. Check that out. I know y'all want to jump through the screen and eat that. So, here we go. So we've got 2 half racks over here. And one with sauce, one without. And then a bunch of beef back ribs, some huge ones. And so that's it. This little guy did amazing. He stayed at about 200 for 6 hours. And I used less than half a bag of charcoal for this cook. So the minis are incredibly efficient and a lot of fun to cook on. So that's what we're about to get up into. We're going to have some serious leftovers this week. And I appreciate you guys watching, and all you dads out there, I hope you had a great Father's Day. We'll see you again soon.